Hi, Grandma Debbie here. All right, so I've been doing some recipes for the 4th of July, and to stay in that theme, we're going to make some cupcakes, but the cupcakes are going to be red, white, and blue. And I'm not making them from scratch. I'm making them using a white cake mix boxed. So this is a simple little recipe that you can whip out in pretty much no time. So we're going to get started. I'm going to bring you along with me, and I think it's going to be fun. All right, let's get going. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is I've been going back and forth between using white cupcake holders or these other ones that I have. Let me open these and see how big they are. I don't want super big ones. I just want little ones. Or doing some other ones that I have. I haven't decided. Those are super tall. I don't like that. We're not going to use those. So the other ones that I have do say love on them. That's okay. You know, use whatever you have. And the only reason why I'm using paper, because normally I use, what do I normally use? Normally I use the silicone ones, is because these are going to my daughter's office, and I don't want her to have to worry about gathering up all the silicone and bringing them back to me. I'd just rather that she just enjoys the cupcakes and goes with that way. One thing though that I don't like about paper is that they stick together. All right, so according to the recipe, it says it does 22 cupcakes. So I'm actually going to be ready for 24 for just in case, because usually I get 24 out of them. So I was a little surprised when I saw 22, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will only get 22. Now what I'm going to be doing with for the cupcakes is I'm going to be leaving part of it white and coloring the other parts. One's going to be red and one's going to be blue. And then I'm going to frost them with white buttercream frosting. And the frosting, then I'm going to put red, white, and blue sprinkles on top because it just kind of makes it festive. And once again, you know, this is something you can do with your kids. You can do to take to a party. You know, who doesn't like a good cupcake? Okay, why am I short one? Is there a doubled up one somewhere? Maybe. Well, I don't see a doubled up one. So we're just going to go with what we have. I think. All right. So maybe we'll only get 23. We'll see what we end up with. All right. So now we're going to get started on the actual cake part itself. So I'm going to preheat my oven to 350. And I'm going to pour the cake mix in. Now, generally I would use a different bowl, but I want to be able to measure out. So I wanted to see how much cake mix I'm going to end up with. Okay, then we're going to add 3 eggs. Now on this, it normally calls for egg whites, but then I have egg yolks that I don't know what to do with. So you can do either or. I mean, you can do egg whites if that's what you want to do, or you can do just 3 eggs. Actually, it would be 4 egg whites for this particular box. All right, then we're going to add in 3/4 cup of water, and I guess I should have measured that out. And a quarter or a half a cup of vegetable oil. All right, then we're going to just mix this up. Okay, that was about 2 minutes. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it up into 3. I'm going to try to do 3 equal parts. Let me get a spatula. Okay, so I'm going to divide this up into about 10 ounces. Okay. All right, now we've got 3. So we've got white. I'm leaving this one white. I'm going to do one of these red and one of these blue. So we're going to start off with blue. You can make these as vibrant as you want. It's up to you. Isn't that pretty? All right, now this one's going to be red. And I meant to put on gloves before I did the red, and I did not. Oh well. That's life. I don't know what it is about the red, but every time I use it, I end up with it all over the place. Mainly all over me, see? Now when you do the cupcakes, you can do these in any order you want. And so what I'm going to do though is I'm going to do red first. And I'm just going to do, I'm not going to measure out, I'm just going to dump. Or not dump, I'm going to pour. Let me get my terminology correct here. All right, so we're going to start off with this one. I might not even get 6 more out of this. We'll see. Well, they might just be a little dollop. Now we're going to do the blue. I'm going to start off with this one over here. All right, I'm going to move those off to the side. I think some of these are going to be a little too full, but that's okay. So now we're just going to do the white. I tend to make a huge mess when I do this. All right, so we're going to get these into the oven. They're going to bake for, I don't know how long. They're going to bake for about 19 minutes, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so they're finished baking. You can see a little bit of the blue peeking through and the red's at the bottom. Over here, there's a little bit of red. So now we're going to make the frosting. We're going to get going. So for the frosting, we're going to take a cube of butter. We're going to cream it. And I've left this sitting out at room temperature for about an hour. Okay, well, maybe over here. All right, got that done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slowly add in 2 cups of powdered sugar or confectioner sugar, whatever you want to call it. All right, so we're going to add just a little bit. All right, we got our first cup done. Now we're going to add in our second cup. All right, we got it all mixed up. Now we're going to add in half a teaspoon of vanilla. You can also add in any other flavoring that you would prefer if you don't want vanilla. And then we're going to add in milk, 1 tablespoon at a time, until we reach the desired consistency. I'm going to add 1 more. All right, so we've got it where we want it, and now we're going to start frosting the cupcakes. And kind of clean up my mess a little bit before we get started. Okay, so we're going to get started on frosting. After I frost each one, I'm going to put a little bit of sprinkles on them. I got red, white, and blue. I think it's going to be fun. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let me bring these over a little closer. Do you like a lot of frosting on your cupcakes, or do you like just a little bit? How do you like your cupcakes? I like a lot of frosting, but that's just me. I just like a lot of frosting in general. That's why usually cakes are, they're my kryptonite. If I see a cake, I want it. So I shouldn't eat it. So I just usually don't keep cakes in the house because of that very reason. I know that I will sit down and eat the whole thing, and I do not need to do that. All right, so after I get these frosted, I'm going to put them in a little container because it's a little warm today, and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator that we have. We have a garage refrigerator, so it's going to go out there and stay until I take it to my daughter's office. But this is something you can do with the kids. I could have even dyed the frosting a different color. I could have done blue, red, whatever. You can also pipe this out if you're good at piping. I am not very good at it, so I just generally avoid it. Okay, we got that done. Now we're just going to add some sprinkles. Don't these look fun? I've been dropping them all over the place. All right, so I've got these finished, and I'm going to get them into the refrigerator so they can cool off. But this is, or to cool off, so they don't melt. The frosting doesn't melt. But don't those look good? I think so. I just want to thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I hope that you're having an amazing day and everything's going great. I know that we used boxed mix. The frosting, though, was from scratch. Super simple. Both things. Sometimes I do like to do things from a box. I'll admit it. And cake is one of those things. So, but give this recipe a try. It's great for the kids. They would have a blast doing it. So go ahead and do it and try it out with them. You can use whatever color sprinkles you want. You can even get stars and whatever. So, do whatever you want. It's just a recipe, a recipe is just a guide. Make it your own. All right. So, once again, I hope you're having an amazing day and everything's going great. Hit that like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.